Let's now speak to Douglas Sloan. He was the first vice president of the D.C. branch of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. He's also the head of the National Capital Strategy Group. He's joining us from Washington, where he's been providing logistical support to the protesters there. Thanks for your time with us on the NewsHour. In fact, let's just start on the point of the protesters. Weigh in on the protest movement. What do you think it's achieved so far, and where does it head to next?
Well, I think the protest movement is moving along quite nicely, and I just want to clarify, I am first vice president of the DC NAACP, but I'm here speaking in my capacity as a social justice activist. The president of the NAACP does all the talking on all the networks.
All right, got it.
In that regard, I think the protests are moving along quite well because the most important thing we want to see as a result of these protests is change. We need to see a fundamental change in how police officers are interacting with the public, and in particular, interacting with people of color and Black males. We need to see a reform, and some of the reforms that are being put in place in Minnesota are some of the reforms that we need to see nationwide. We need to see a nationwide ban on chokeholds. We need to see a stipulation that's put in to ensure that police, other officers are required to intervene if they see another officer break the law, and that they are required to report it. We also would like to see an independent investigator investigate some of these crimes that are done by police. It's often the local prosecutors that are investigating these crimes, and the local prosecutors work hand in hand with these police departments. So we often see that there are no charges and the police get off. So we need to see an independent commission or board, perhaps a national one. I know that Joe Biden was talking about putting in a national board within the first 100 days to investigate any illicit behavior by the police. And the protests, quite frankly, are doing a very good job of pushing the envelope and pushing this matter forward to the forefront for people to further consider.
Right, but from a governmental sort of a policy standpoint, and when it comes in particular to the Trump administration, have you seen so far a genuine effort by the Trump administration to reach out to African-American communities? What practical changes does the administration need to do?
I'll be very honest, I'm not seeing much of anything for the Trump administration, and I don't really expect much of anything from the Trump administration regarding these issues. But frankly, the Trump administration has dropped the ball regarding the coronavirus pandemic. They've dropped the ball regarding social justice issues and criminal justice issues. You saw the Trump administration, along with Jeff Sessions, when he was the AG, Attorney General, roll back all of the civil rights protections that were put in by the Obama administration. He did that within his first year within office. So I don't really expect much from the Trump administration in this regard. What I expect to see Congress to move forward on these issues. And I know that I believe it is the Eric Garner bill is now in the House, if I'm not mistaken, and that is a bill that would ban police use of chokeholds nationwide when apprehending potential suspects or people that they are working to arrest or apprehend. So that would definitely be a step in the right direction. But coming full circle, I really don't expect much from the Trump administration on this.
What about Americans over in the U.S.? Because there's a new poll out, and it seems to suggest that nearly 3/4 of Americans view the death of George Floyd as a sign of underlying racial injustice problem in the U.S. And this seems to be a significant shift from 6 years ago when the same question was asked. So to what extent do you think the last 10 days have really shaped the way Americans view race in America? Not only Americans, in fact, but the world as well. We see demonstrations going on in many capitals around the world.
That's right. We're seeing demonstrations all over the world, and this is unprecedented. Even when Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated, we did not see demonstrations worldwide. We saw demonstrations and protests and riots nationwide, but not worldwide. So this is really unprecedented, and I do believe that this being caught on tape, seeing Officer Chauvin kill murder George Floyd on national television. When I say on national television, obviously it was caught on viral video and it spread, but everyone was able to log in and see that. That really changed a lot of hearts and minds regarding police use of force, how police are unfairly targeting African Americans, and that there needs to be a fundamental change. And quite frankly, it couldn't have happened at a better time because we're right in the middle of a pandemic. So a lot of places are still on lockdown. There are a lot of people that have been stuck in their houses for several weeks at a time. They're not working. Their kids are not in school. So this is a prime opportunity. People are getting out and protesting, and hopefully we're protesting using all the proper social distancing and wearing our masks, but everyone's at home. So I really do think, in this tape, this clip where you saw Officer Chauvin murder George Floyd, it matches anything that the terrorist group ISIS has ever put out. I mean, this was horrid. And it really struck a chord with people, not just the United States, but worldwide.
Right.
And so we really want to see a change in how police, excuse me, that's my cat, how police are using force. And we really want to see some fundamental reforms in policing in this country.
All right, Douglas Sloan, we thank you. Thanks very much for joining us on Al Jazeera.
Thank you.